How do I use the internet? The eternal question. Let's see. The YouTube chat has apparently broken and I cannot see it. Fabulous. Where has the YouTube chat gone? I cannot see it. Okay, refreshing the page worked, I think. There we go. Okay, I have everything up on my screen and I can sort of see that the stream is running. As always, let me know how the volume is or if it's too loud or too quiet or anything like that. And in the meantime, I'll run the game. See what happens. It's taking its time. And there we go. Okay. This is where we left off yesterday. Let's see. I can do this. I can modify these, set the scale, and rotate them around the axis, around n axis. That's useful. Other useful potentially things. I'm trying to think of other operations that might want to be done. Perhaps flipping across an axis instead of rotating. I can do that, I guess. That's another, do I have the GitHub project board? I'll open the GitHub project board. And drag it over here. I've, let's see. Off recording, I went and updated the lighting shaders to accommodate for smooth shading and some other things, so maybe I'll mess with lighting. I don't think that's a very high priority thing right now. Hello, Alub. Alub? I think it's Alub. I think I asked that before and that's what you said. Or I could be thinking of someone else. Alright, let's get started with rotation, reset transform. Apply scale. I want to clone this, I think. A couple times. For Y and Z. Everyone pronounces it wrong. Oh hey, the YouTube chat is actually appearing in OBS this time. That's cool. I've probably found more ways to pronounce it wrong than pretty much anyone else. That's been a bit of a thing, pronouncing things wrong. Anyway, these buttons, let's make these buttons do something. Those would be similar in implementation to this. Mirror X, mirror Y, mirror Z, Sounds like a boss from Pokemon Coliseum. There are no button values to reset, but the actual action would be here. I will mirror you across the x-axis. No scale parameter. You are still working on Lego modding tools. Is that the one that, is that the one where you said, like, the up axis was, like, positive Y and forward was negative Z or something on non-standard like that? Were you the one who mentioned that? Someone mentioned that. I think it was you. I don't imagine too many people are doing Lego modding. Yeah, there's also the matter of doing it for one submesh versus all. Scale is not relevant right now. Just the models were doing that. So is the world something normal? Is the world a regular, like X, Y is the ground and Z is up, or X, Z is the ground and Y is up or something? This just needs to be a negative sign, doesn't it? I should probably turn this create wireframe into its own script at some point. Mirror Y, mirror Z. That is Y, and Z is an offset of 8. Mirror all X, all Y, and all Z. That mistakenly takes a scale parameter. It should not. And while I'm at it, this probably does too, yeah. Okay. Let's go back to this. All right, that's done. Now I just need to duplicate for Y and Z. This is very tedious. Which one is this? Y. Lastly, and that should be done. Now all I have to do is attach it to the buttons, and we should be good to go. That should be finished. And then like rewrite the tooltip help, because that's incorrect, referring to the button that I cloned. That sort of thing. So if I were to drag some of these in and scale them all up and rotate them to the correct axis, this one is fairly irregular. Marty, is this about the game thing? Like, don't worry, you got there eventually. I try not to make it sound like I'm making fun of anyone. A little. Or a lot. let's see. What was I doing? Mirror X. All right, that indeed mirrored around the X. This is symmetrical around Y, so that would look the same. Are there any who are... Are there any that are not symmetrical around the Y? Oh, you know what I can do? Now it's not symmetrical around the Y. That works, and Z should flip it upside down. There we go. Okay. Those work. Just in case that is a neat... Oops, uh-oh. Just in case that is a needed action. Would that be across or over? I think the more correct word would be over the x-axis. And Y and Z. Alright, I can commit that change. Another thing I've done off, let's get this junk off my desk. Another thing I've done off recording is, the extra data that gets appended to the vertex buffers is now 0 instead of duplicating the last color value. Studio code not support alt selecting. If you mean GameMaker Studio, it lets you do this with the alt button, although it does not let you select more than one region. If it let you select more than one region, you could do things like select this text, as well as this text, as well as this text, and then just like paste all three values at once. I do like me some rectangle select though. It helps with things such as refactoring. What was do I want to do lighting now? I kind of don't want to do lighting now. I kind of just want to finish this up. I've been putting off the vertex buffer thing for like a while. Oh, VS Code. Do I have VS Code? Can I like try that out now? I thought I had VS Code. Apparently not. That's funny. This is regular Visual Studio, right? Yeah. Hello. Okay, so the vertex formats. This is probably a very minor thing that I'm getting hung up on, but I do want to do it. Let's have a list. Take requests for tutorials. Sort of. I have a... somewhere around here. I have a board for things that I am thinking about doing at some point in the future. As you can see, there's a lot. If anyone suggests something, I'll consider it, although perhaps not for a while. Do you have something in mind? I need a... Let's close that to make it less in the way. what is it? Mode dot. There's a list somewhere, right? Yeah, mode dot formats. These should probably have a name to go with them, huh? Not my favorite way of assigning names to things, but it'll do the job. I don't feel like creating an object. If this was 2.3, that would immediately be a struct, but not currently available. Is that redundant? I think that's the default value for that. Hang on, let's rerun that real quick. Format names is not a variable. Shouldn't it be? Oh, is it not a variable yet? Order matters. Text boxes. The first video on game dev that I actually did was about text boxes. It's very basic. It sounds like you're describing something more involved than just drawing text on the screen from an array. This is floating off the screen. Where do I want to put these things? Anyway, text boxes. In the simplest form, what you're describing is just, instead of drawing text at a fixed position on the screen, you would draw it either relative to an object or at some other position. And instead of just drawing a rectangle behind the words, you would draw a sprite or a 9 slice of some sort. There are I guess I can always make these mirror buttons like a third as wide as they are and stack them next to each other instead of stacking them on top of each other. There are a couple other people who do things like that. Friendly Cosmonaut is fairly well known for her text box system. A camera system. Considering that I deal in almost exclusively 3D, maybe. Built-in shaders, more model format. So there are a lot of the common requests that GameMaker gets for 3D stuff. I don't see how it would work without like ripping control away from things that other people do. If there's anything that I want to see 3D get, it would be an updated version of GLSL, so that you could do more with shaders, because currently shaders are kind of the bottleneck for a lot of things that people try to do, or and or high performance. For example, if we could use things like geometry shaders to instance 3D objects on the GPU instead of doing it in GML and then wasting time sending it to the GPU, that would help do a number of things. Or if they would just let us have access to some of the later features of GLES 2 or 3 or whatever they're on now. Things like built-in 3D model support, that's kind of like, people have already written code for that. That's completely fine. In fact, there used to be D3D model load or whatever the function was, and that was essentially just vertex buffers, but hidden from you. So there could be other things. What was I doing? I was making these buttons less wide. And putting them next to each other. So that there's more space. We will not stack them on top of each other either. Cosmos text boxes are good, but you don't think they fit what you're trying to make. Okay. Okay, this fits better. That's a little jammed together. I don't know if I want to put any other buttons on top of each other, because that would be a little weird. These can be next to each other since they're grouped together. Let's see if that gives them a little bit, makes them look a little bit less cramped. Cosmos text boxes are good, but they don't fit what you're trying to make. What was I in the middle of saying? As soon as this runs. Okay, that's better. Yeah, let's go with that. If coding is a thing you want to do, you could always, like, and it sounds, I take it that that's what you mean when you say it's a good start, but you could like take them apart, see how they work, and if using them directly isn't what you're looking for, you could figure out what it's doing and use that, collect some ideas on what you want, how you want your own to make. That's a lot of what learning how to game dev is taking things apart and see how they work. If I make this that's okay, they're in the wrong place for one. Also, I have another idea for moving things around. Actually, what if we put that there, make this some number of columns shorter, and draw those there. Would I like to see what you're working on? Okay. If you got a screenshot or 3. I'll have a look while this is building. This is more or less formatted in the right way. This is more or less not. Okay, because I am allowed to be as ludicrously picky as necessary, I'm going to move the vertex format thing to the top and the editing things to the bottom. The list. This should be plus UI list get, where is it? Get list height. Should be that. There's probably space for another 2 entries in the mesh list on the side. Laying out UI is annoying. 75% of it is perfectly easy, and then there's the last 25% that you need to make fit, except there's like 10 pixels, not enough space on one side or another, and that's where everything starts to suck. It's probably good enough though, right? Okay. I think that should be okay. I prefer to have an even number of entries in a list instead of an odd number for reasons that I do not know, so I'll make that 6 instead. And, okay. If I wanted to, the mirror X, Y, Z buttons could be stacked on top of each other now, but I don't know if that's really necessary. Alright, that looks not too bad. I've done worse. So now there's the, it looks like if there was a link, it got filtered out. Are there, is there a setting I have to hit to allow people to post links or something in stream chat? No. Most of the time I let links, I allow links in comments and in chat and stuff because most of the time the people who post them are like legitimate. I don't know if there's something that would have had it filtered out though. If you could... Okay, I was gonna ask if you have a Twitter link or something. Let us try this. I assume you mean this? Okay, I see where like having text boxes hovering above the player's head or somewhere else on the screen rather than just at the top or bottom would come in handy. Yeah. It looks good. I like the character animations. Did he do those? It looks it sells the motion very well. Okay. It looks cool. I was You're doing everything alone, including the character animations. Let's see. I need to do something like that. Did that just disappear? Did the script just disappear? Oh, it went I don't know why it went there. I would not like it to be in there. There we go. So a few things need to be done here. One would probably be hang on. Something like this. You can be very picky and your own boss, indeed. Which can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you like to work. I feel like I've said that in like the last probably 50 streams in which people have asked about game dev and that sort of thing. Okay, so that button works. Things are getting added to the list. There's the matter of actually creating the vertex format. Which can be a little bit of a pain. Is it text chord or text chord? I'm allowed to write bad-looking code, right? This shouldn't have any visible behavior on the screen or anything. It should just not crash is the important part. Okay, it does not crash. Next order of business is to remove that. And that will be this button. Oh, you know what? It's not an actual vertex format. It's a list of these. Right. Almost forgot that. Hang on. First, let me deal with the thing I've got half done now. This will be ds list. Deleting a negative list index just doesn't do anything, right? Deleting an out-of-bounds list index. Something like that. That should be enough for deleting, right? Currently, that's technically a memory leak, but it will not be once I actually make it do what it's supposed to do. Okay, that's the delete button. Did I? Oh, I did that again, didn't I? I edited the wrong script. Alright, this should be remove. Add will be... No. Add will be done later. Okay. I have been live for about 35 minutes, apparently. Most of which has been fiddling with UI. As it tends to be towards the end of these game editor projects. Okay, good. And then I am not allowed to select more than one, right? Yeah. It is not allowing multi-select, which is good because it only makes sense to have one of those selected at a time anyway. And now there's the matter of doing this the actual correct way. Without a real vertex format, as it were. It would be nice if you could just get the vertex formats data back out of a vertex format, but it does not quite work that way. Still works. So editing these should be a bit of a different matter. I'm going to let's have this spawn a dialogue. Don't need that. I can just do that in here, right? I don't need to, Dialogues. Create. This is still here, apparently. Is that used anywhere? It is. This should really be like down here. Really, I'll just put all the all the mesh editor things in there. I don't really care which ones I duplicate. I'd just rather have them all in the same place. So let's call this, and we'll save the Vertex format so that we have an easy way to reference it. All of these are for something else. I can remove that. And this will essentially just be an empty dialog that's 640 by 640. When I click on that button, it is attached to the button, right? I think it's attached to the button. What it can also be is attached to the double click for the list. Expects 2 arguments. Actually, just... Yeah. It was right the first time. No, I'll just pass it the index. Because I kind of need to access to list entries. For now. Okay, so that spawns this window. It says player starting location, which is not quite it. There will be... Let's start with a name. So there's going to be the Vertex Format name. And after that, we'll get onto the list and the all the other things that go with it. That looks rather narrow. Huh. Oh. elements are sort of centered in their columns, or at least they're supposed to be. Hence the plus 32 on the side of that one there. That's a bit better. There can be a list of things. Like this. And that's... I'm going to need to do a little bit more to the Vertex Format data structure, I think. On value change is null. The default value is 0. Actually, it should be create list. Lists don't have a default value. Content slots can be like 12. Not that you're ever probably going to have more than 5 or 6. No attributes. Width, height, content slots. No on value change. And the default list that it pulls from would be none at the current moment. Yeah, I guess I should also name the attributes. This box also does not need to be nearly this high. That's good. Okay, so there will also be the attribute name. I'll get to populating the list in a minute. Y equals the top, the attribute name. It is going to look like this. There's going to be a selector for this needs to be in column 2 also. There's going to be a selector for the type. Radio array options are going to be... What are the types? vector 2, vector 3, another vector 3, that's also a vec 2, and a color is an interesting case. There's probably no point labeling. Labeling these specifically, right? It's kind of understood what those are. And it just wastes space. Position 2D, position 3D, normal text chord color. I didn't ever look up what exactly these other data types were for and or how you use them. So I think I will leave them alone for now. That's probably going to require a field trip into the GLS-LES documentation at some point, so I will not do that now. I meant to copy that. I hope there's enough space for all this. Do I actually have, okay, good, there's enough space. By a lot. Do I actually have the SMF project open in front of me? I do not. I could look at that and see if it does anything special with special vertex attributes, but not right now. I'll just, okay, so I think, and this is where something like data structure literals would be real nice, but you know what? Instead of going through GML to do this, I'm just going to throw JSON at it. And either load this from a file or just have it sitting there in regular GML as a string, which is parsed. Let's see, it would be an array and there's going to be an object. And it's going to contain a name and a list of attributes. Just to make sure I have them in the right order, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And then, for example, if I wanted another one, would look like that, which is the one that I'm currently kind of using. Oh, you know what? Should look more like this. That needs a comma. Okay, I think this is how the JSON should look. You can do that. That's nice. Some of these need to be escaped. Majorly. Does the string literal mean? Okay, fun. That's all gonna have to be on one line. You're super confused. Don't worry. I will try to unconfuse it in a minute. I am manually, or I guess manually, automatically, I can't even tell, creating JSON to represent these vertex formats so that I don't have to define them in GML because that would be super tedious. Bytes are hard to work with. Sometimes. There's no issue with like 1,000 characters line of code, right? I could base 64 encode this to make it a little bit more compressed, I think. I think base 64 is more space efficient than plain text. There's a point to all this, I swear. Almost done. Okay. This is instead going to be that, instead of what I had before where it was created through GML. And then the names could be like another list in there, but I should probably close Discord while I work because that would be distracting. Okay, so how about when I open this, just to make sure everything's in the right place. That's going to be this. And it's going to have a list of DS maps with a name and a name and a type. Right? JSON is fun. All right, so that should print out the name and the type when I click the button. Data structure with index does not exist. We are off to a good start. Did that, I'll show message that. Is that invalid JSON after all that work? Did I copy it over wrong? It's 400 characters too much. $400 characters should be nothing for a, Oh, does it need to be a string? It's -1. Does attributes need to be a string? That might be it. And also all the other those things. Yes, I know. Go away. I could also just load this from a file. If I need to do too much else to it, I'll just load it from a file. Because that's easier than dealing with a one line of JSON. Alright, you know what? Screw it. We're gonna do this the less hard way. Or the less stupid way, anyway. Also, I don't actually need the second one. So where did that go? That went to my Can I open this in Explorer? That went to a Discord bots folder. And I don't really care where it goes as long as it ends up in here. It was also saved as a text file instead of a JSON file. Okay, that's good. I'll just open that in Explorer to make sure I did it right. Yep, looks like I did it right. Okay. We'll do this the less dumb way. What was it? Included files, data, Vertex Formats. Buffer read, buffer text. And okay. At least that should be valid JSON now. I may have just wasted 10 minutes of my life and of yours. For which I apologize, if that was the case. Illegal buffer index. Does that file does exist, right? It's just... It doesn't have to be a /, does it? Oh, the first backslash is not necessary. All right, that is DS map index 50. And if I hit edit that vertex format, position 1, normal 2, texture UVs 3, color 4, excellent. All right, that's the data I wanted. Also, you know what? I might as well just also store the names in here. Like that. Don't need that folder. And we'll append this. And instead of being its own thing there. Yeah. JSON makes everything better except when it doesn't. My viewer count just dropped by half while I was working on that. Yeah, this is going to be the last time I stream development on this tool. Really? Did I break it? Next time I do game dev things, I will do an actual game. That's not what I meant to click. This is definitely not for everybody. There is an extra. Oh, you know what? I also apparently like cloned that inside itself, which is not what I meant to do. Like streaming game development is hard enough because it's often not pretty. And streaming development of other stuff is even worse because it's often not pretty and you don't have some satisfying result at the end. So I will try not to do this too much. Alright, that did it. Much better. Now there's the matter of UI list. How do I add, like, manually? Alright, I guess I can do this the long way. Hopefully that will make the list of the attribute name show up in the list. I thought I had a helper script to do that, but apparently not. Okay, that made the attribute name show up in the list. Next, I need to make something happen when I actually click on those. Which could take the form of copying an existing script and doing it. Something like that. For the name, for example. That should work as a rename option. So now if I type the name of the thing into the text box, the vertex format itself will be renamed. Excellent. Next order of business is doing that, but for the vertex attributes. So instead of vertex format name, it will be vertex attribute name, and I need to save a list of the attributes to the dialog so I can access it later. And That's the Vertex Format. If nothing is selected, don't do anything. First we will want to list our entries. Selection index is going to equal input.name. And then format. How does it go again? And then those are all JavaScript objects. I might just be confusing myself. This is the root list. This is this line here, line 6. This is line 9. I really wish I had chained accesses now. And dot name. All right, that's really gross because that is JSON, but I think it is going to put the data where I want it. Oh, chained accesses would make this so much nicer. I could always DSList set. I'll make a note for myself in the future whenever I actually 2.3 is that project, this project. And it is, of all things, it got there, but should be input.value. Also, I need to set the value in the input box when I select something in the list, but that is trivial now. Compared to this monstrosity that I just wrote. It's funny, that's only 12 lines and 9 lines of actual code, but it's like the worst thing that I've written all day. Really? Oh, wrong one. I am doing far too much computer science on stream for people to want to stick around. This stream is down to 2 viewers. That is completely okay. I'll try to get through this in a hurry. Alright, that works. Good. And aside from the business with the name value input variable thing, it actually worked on the first try too. Hello, Game Jam. Hanging in there? I'm gonna have to go the other way. Now, I'm going to have to, instead of setting this value to something, I'm going to have to set something's value to it. I could be worse. Also, that needs to be, I just realized. I'm finally doing the thing that I said I was going to do several days ago with, Vertex Formats. And, it's tedious, one might say. I need to save a reference to attribute name. Like that. And that should at least put the correct name of the attribute in the box. After this mess, the whole business of actually making this do something when you export vertex buffers is going to be like as simple as I've done all day. There is a variable not found somewhere. Oh, that's because I should have removed that. Okay, good. The name ends up in the name box. Also, the spacing, I just realized. Is it usually 16? It's usually 16. Oh, the spacing is not actually applied. That would be why. There. Next, there's the matter of kind of going backwards out of this. And instead of assigning something to the name in the vertex format, I'll be assigning something out of it, based on it, from it, words. Type. Like there. That should do it. So much about game development history in Canada. More specifically, Alberta. Apparently, the subdivision of Electronic Arts that worked on Mass Effect 3 and Mass Effect text. No. Oh, yes. No. Okay, I did read that correctly. Apparently, the subdivision of Electronic Arts that worked on Mass Effect 3 and Mass Effect Andromeda is located in the town near me. Okay. Apparently, that is also somewhat associated with a company called Beamdog, which was partially founded by a former employee of Matt Thorson's while he was in college in your city. Okay. Were you the person a few days ago who mentioned that, like, one of your teachers also taught the developer of, I think it was Celeste or something? Industry contacts all over the place, huh? All right, so I click on this and everything... Oh, that's because I want, instead of format index, the selection index. That's Matt Thorson. He was the one who made Celeste. Okay. I know some of the names of people in game development, but not all of them. So your city is a bit of a hotbed for game dev people, huh? Texture, coordinate, color. Okay, so that works. Selecting things in the list updates the values of everything. How safe is this? Does name... Okay, name will not attempt to do anything dangerous if nothing is selected. Although with that said, its default string should probably be an empty string instead of something with a value. And lastly, when you click on the type radio button, something should happen here. So that's not going to affect that in any way, but the type is going to be set with that radio button. Okay. And then there's the matter of making sure that it's all saved once you click OK, but I'm pretty sure it just edits that directly. There was a time early on when I was working on this program where I tried to have changes cached until you click the OK button so you could hit the X button and discard changes if you wanted to, but that was way more trouble than it was worth. So if I were to change that to texture coordinate, it's going to explode because I keep doing that. A wild ratchet appeared. Greetings, wild ratchet. I've spent all afternoon working with data. Okay, so... Oh. That's a bit of a quirk about the way that I designed these radio arrays, which in hindsight was very dumb. But I prefer to just live with it now rather than fix it because it's not that difficult of a fix. It's just kind of dumb. Vertex formats. The best part of shaders. That's not true. The best part of shaders are varyings. Okay, so I can... That did not... Alright, if I set the color type to position 2D, it will not be saved. Yeah, so you say that, and yet if you go into the repository and search for like root.root.root.root, you'll find several results. Yeah, more results than I would like. That's, hang on. Yeah. But Dragonite, the document object model is not something you actually want to imitate. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Alright, you are going off to have an adventure known as a haircut. I will... Until we meet again. I'm sure Ratchet and I will be here trading barbs for some amount of time. let's see exactly what that is that I'm setting the value of. I mean, it works somehow. And as long as I don't touch it, it will keep working. I hope. I think the longest chain in the code here is like 6 levels deep or something. Okay, so it is indeed. Oh no. Okay, so it's setting the value of positions of the first one for some reason. And that is because okay. What kind of textures? Beats me. Whatever you throw at it, probably. So right now, and I'm probably going to try and make this at least a little bit prettier before I actually throw it on the internet for people to use. Let me just make sure that this does what I want it to first. Okay, now it does what I want it to. If I close out of there, you know what, hang on. Okay, it also saves. So now it's position normal, texture, and IDK. And okay, so we have a similar issue. Whatever a normal user throws at it. I mean, the first thing that you're gonna do is see how you can break it, so yeah, sounds about right. That needs to be index instead of the Vertex Format index, the type. Okay. That should be good. And then I just need to do the comparatively simple task of adding and removing things. Attributes. With a button, probably. So I don't know if you were here when I was testing this yesterday, but if I load some things in, and my middle click button is severely broken, and make them all bigger so that you can actually see. These are untextured. All these models that I'm working with are just vertex colors. Where is it? Oh, I disabled the show texture option because it was like not really working very well. If you really wanted to, this is what it would look like with texture, because it's the texture that it's drawn with is kind of messed up, and I have not added anything that lets you load your own, which is a thing I may do later. Texture is not really a concern right now. It is more the model conversion that's a concern. I'd initially thought that like after today I would just throw it on itch.io, but there are some more things I want to do that will take time, such as dealing with textures and probably lighting that I doubt I'll get to before like the next half hour. So commit that. I need an add and a remove button. And I guess I'll put them underneath the list. And then those need to be added down here. You remember writing an image for that in computer craft days? Like something that wasn't either bitmap or PNG, which is essentially a compressed bitmap. Oh, Ratchet, you and your file formats. We get along well. Okay. There is now an add and remove button which does not do anything. The add button should be easy enough. Famous last words. Instead of setting things, it was a bitmap, but it was specific for your use case, which was simple sprites. So like index color or something. Oh, wait. It was 1 bits per pixel. So 2-bit color, like black and white or green and white or something. Blue and white, whatever common 2-bit color would be. Black and green, that would probably look awful. People did some interesting things with computer craft though, that's for sure. I need to... Okay, so this whole thing. That was probably actually not the best script to copy and paste. Instead, I will copy and paste this one. Set the background and foreground by using a single byte. I would assume like you had a primary byte that was one RGBA color, or maybe just RBG, probably just RBG, and a secondary color that was another RBG color, and just a bit of 1 maps to the primary and a bit of 0 maps to the secondary or something. Hang on. Okay, so first, this is just a standard amount of spaghetti. Computer craft supported 15 colors at a time. Fancy. So is that like 4-bit, 1 for transparency? A flag byte to set a transparent background and foreground. So it's kind of index color? I guess? Let's see, the attribute is this. And it would be new Okay, I think that should put all the data where it needs to be. I changed my mind about that being less bad than the other things because that was a big mess. Syntax error, missing a parenthesis. And if I had to guess, there would be one too many there. You haven't done any actual programming in a few days. Ratchet, come on. That sounds terrible, I'm sorry. Okay, I need to not stream as long as I did yesterday. I need to go do some other real life things, but hopefully, at least by the time I'm done, this will work. Can I add? Or that's position 3D. Is it going to be saved? It is. Okay, excellent. And removing. Is removing going to be as bad as this was? It should just be this in reverse. This is going to be kick out of that early if you are not, if a valid index is not selected, then ds list delete the entry in the list with the names. I also need to delete the actual name there because this is a big mess. And then the attributes. Instead of doing all this, I think that's all I need to do. Also, before I forget, no, oh wait, okay, that's actually not correct. I've already forgotten, I'm editing the wrong list. Yes. You had a few ideas when it came to the GameCube hacking thing. Ideas are a good start. What is your end goal with the GameCube hacking thing currently? Are you trying to make something specific, or are you currently just trying to like learn how it all works? So if I delete that and come back to it, position 3D in the normal. Okay. So removing works. That was a lot less painful than adding. And I think that's done for attributes. Now I just need to actually make it do something when I export the... that was debug mode. When I export the models as vertex buffers. So let's look at export over here. Where is export? It should be at the top. Export. Good question. No idea. Can relate. Okay, export vertex buffer. Just modifying the executable itself. Weren't you doing like visual stuff? Like graphics with the GameCube's render pipeline or something? Last we spoke? Or was that I managed to crash it sometime. Insert a printf somewhere. All right, that's kind of like reverse hello world, taking something that's already compiled and inserting a hello world into it. Okay, how did this crash? Did I double click it and deselect it at the same time or something? Alright, I'll write that down as a bug to fix. I think I know what happened to cause that crash, but I'm not sure and I'll look into it later. If possible, you'd like to be able to compile a file which then hooks into a function and replaces it. So it like replaces the pointer to the function so that when the game calls one function, it does whatever your code says instead of whatever the developer intended. As someone who does not do like reverse engineering, that sounds reasonable. The Vertex Format is just this, right? Yeah, format list. And then this returns -1 if it's not found, right? Yeah. This isn't called anywhere else, right? Line 27 and 47. Oh, okay. Okay. So when you export as vertex buffer, it will take that. If let's see, if none is specified, so if nothing is selected in the list, it'll just do it as is. Otherwise, and I can probably just delete all the ones I did last night as a test. And see if it'll do it properly. And if a vertex format is specified, it will reformat the buffer before saving. Okay, I think I got a handle on how this is going to go over. Replacing the function is way easier than actually rewriting it. Making a new one is harder since you can't seem to figure out how to resize a portion of memory. I would imagine, since then anything that points to, if you resize the memory inside the executable, anything that points to something afterwards will be suddenly pointing to something else and everything would die. Since normally the compiler takes care of that rather than you. You're toying around with the idea of working together on a programming language. I figured of all the people who I know who would work on a programming language, it would probably be you, Ratchet, because that seems like the sort of insanity that you'd be doing. Dropel. Is that an E or an O? I had to look far closer at my screen than I probably should have, but that's an E. Drepel, hello. I'm now working on a tool to convert 3D models from one format to another. If you want an example, take these OBJs, drag them into the program, and then you can save them as a GameMaker model or another OBJ or something else. I said I wanted to test not that, but the vertex buffer with nothing selected in there. Let's see if it drops them in. And it looks like it did. Position, normal, normal. Is that a 1? Is that a floating point 1? That is a floating point 1. Okay. I expected it to look more like an integer 1 for some reason. Texture, color, and a 0 as the extra byte. Okay. And now if I have one selected, it'll just not do anything, right? Export selected to there, and then nothing will happen. Yeah, okay. So here, instead of just saving everything verbatim, we're going to have to reformat it slightly. You have tried to make a few languages before, failed miserably, but now you know basic Python, which might help. There's a couple, Yellow Afterlife of GameMaker extension fame has written a couple articles on writing interpreters, which is definitely far from a compiled language, but if you're interested in that sort of thing, those may help, at least when it comes to breaking up text code into a syntax tree. That's something that you may find helpful. Nothing is currently being written out there, but first I'll just commit that change, and then you don't want to make a proper language, you want a binary data reader generator. So that's okay, so that's kind of like what you were working on before. Hang on. YAML is not ugly, Ratchet. YAML is basically JSON without the punctuation and whitespace. Strangely, I prefer whitespace in YAML over the punctuation in JSON, more so than I prefer whitespace in Python over the punctuation in JavaScript. I would definitely not call YAML ugly, though. Okay, so first, the size of the vertex format is going to be plus equals, this would be 2 32-bit floats, so that's 8. This would be 12. This would also be 12. This would be 8 again, and this would be, what, 6? No. Oh, these are bytes. Yes. Okay. So, for example, needs another parentheses there. The default vertex format size would be 12 plus 12 is 24 plus 8 is 32 plus 4 is 36. Okay. So now we have the size of the vertex format. And this will be buffer get size of the submesh buffer divided by vertex base size. New size will be vertex count times vertex new size. And then we can initialize the buffer to that exact size. It can be buffer fixed. And let's see if it spits out the size of the correct size. It's hard to write and quickly parse. I guess I could see that. You can look at a JSON object and see, yeah, this is a dictionary, this is a array because brackets, but YAML you actually have to look at. Yeah, true. I could see that being an issue. All right, so let me drop some of those files in here again, and we'll select a thing, vertex format, and export these, I guess. No, wait. All, I meant. And then it should either crash or do that. Okay. What am I, what actually is format then? Because I thought it was the thing that I wanted. Writing what amounts to a more complex C-struct definition in YAML is weird. Yeah. That's another thing that I could envision being true. Okay. It looks like I am one level higher than I really thought I was. So I need to go one thing deeper into here. And that will give me the right values. Question though, why are you using YAML in the first place though? Is that just what you have to work with? Is that the files that you were given to work with? Data structure with index does not exist. All right, attributes should be the list. Oh, okay. Never mind, I was looking at the wrong thing again. That's the list. And then instead of switching whatever that is, it will just be the type. That's the format the only other data reader generator you know of uses. Okay, that's unfortunate. Drupal, the issue with Ratchet is that he does not like YAML, and he is in a situation where he needs to use files that are formatted, that are structured as YAML, and my issue is that I was mucking around with JSON and not realizing where I was in the hierarchy. No, I did not mean to remove all those. Well, glad to know the remove button works then. Okay, those are the sizes of the buffers that are going to be written. That's okay. And I generally like to remove the printouts before I commit changes. And Ratchet is hardlining that he wants to make his own data format reader. Okay. JSON is best data format. I like JSON. I had said I like YAML a minute ago, but Ratchet just changed my mind. Okay. So now we need to actually reformat the data in these vertex buffers. And I realized I don't actually know how I want to do that. It's like the obvious things are kind of like... For each submesh, I will... JSON is ugly in one line, yes, but that's why things like... That's why things like this exist. Greetings, Christofoxic. If I say that slow enough, I think I got that. Also, Restream has informed me that 100 messages have gone through chat today, which is a lot. Thank you, everybody. My brain is toast. I wanted to finish streaming by past today, but I also want to finish this up once and for all. Okay, brain, come on, do brain things. I wonder how difficult it would be to like overlay the stream chat on the side of my screen. Would that be worth it? I'll look into that for some other time. Yeah, stupid brain. All right, so ds map clear. And now we're going to iterate over the buffer. Actually, could use a second screen for chat. Yeah, I have a second monitor over here, but I'm wondering about like putting it on the side of the video. Let's see. First, we're going to look at the type of the attribute. And that will be something along the lines of format, index I, or index that, and then yeah. That's the type. Yeah. Okay. What am I doing? That doesn't look right somehow. Okay, I will save this for later. I do need to go do real life things. And this may take a while. Thank you to everybody who dropped in today. I will do this again. Probably not tomorrow. Probably like in a couple days. Next time will most likely be actual game dev instead of like computer science. But anything else? I should have done some of this off recording so that the tedious stuff wasn't done on stream, but oh well. Next time I'll try and do that. My name is Michael. I like making games and stuff. It's kind of unfortunate that it's now like dinner time and I need to go, like right when people started coming in, but such as scheduling. Was there something else I wanted to mention? All right, well, if there was, my loss. I will see you all later.